Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I'm going to speak about an industry in which Mr. Gautam Adani has recently invested. Every time Mr. Adani invests in any industry or starts a new company in that particular industry, that particular stock skyrockets. Be it Adani Green, Adani Wilmar, Adani Power, Adani Ports, X and Y. Every single stock has been given crazy returns when it comes to Adani's. So, is this industry a multi-bagger industry? We are going to do that analysis. I'm also going to systematically analyze some of the key stocks in this industry that you could consider investing in. And finally, I will give my verdict as to whether or not I'll be investing in some of these stocks. So let us get the discussion started. And which industry am I talking about? I'm talking about the drone industry. So in case people who do not know what drones look like, just check here. This is what a drone looks like. It has a range of functionalities from weather forecasting, agriculture, insurance, workforce management, surveillance, logistics delivery, you name it. And drones can be used in that particular industry. So from that viewpoint, you need to remember two business concepts. The first is called as the use case. So use case simply means applicability. For example, the use case of this pen is to write on a tablet. The use case of this pen is not to write on books. So use case simply means that where drones can be used or any piece of technology can be used. So right now the use cases for drones are getting built day by day. And it is being built cross geography, cross functions, cross industries. So the range of application is huge when it comes to drones. The second is the proof of concept regarding these use cases. So what it simply means is that, for example, you might have seen that in the US, a lot of drones are being used for delivering pizza. Now that proof of concept has been generated. Now, in order to generate the proof of concept, a company needs to take a look at a range of things. For example, can they do it effectively? Can they do it cheaply? Is there competitive advantage if they do it? So all these different things go into the proof of concept generation. For any new technology to be viable, both these things need to play out. That one, it needs to have extensive use case or applicability. And second is that the proof of concepts need to be generated quickly and efficiently. So what is the situation like in India? Let us do a very quick analysis there. And what are the key levers or drivers in terms of generating growth in the drone industry? So if we try to understand the overview of the drone industry in India, we need to remember two specific points. So first is the point regarding the use cases, that the use cases are still being built in India. It is at a very nascent stage. So right now, after doing extensive study, and please like this video because I had to sit and study for like 10 hours in order to research this video. So after doing a lot of research, what I realized was that right now, the use case or the applications of drones will first start in the agricultural space in India. That is one. And second is the defense. And if they are going in the defense side, then the government intervention becomes quite extensive. So these are the two primary use cases of drones in India as of now. There are a series of companies, which I will speak about later on this video, that are experimenting with other aspects of the use cases regarding drone. But the two primary use cases for drones in India right now seems to be number one, agriculture, and number two, defense. So these are the two primary use cases. And in order for these use cases to get built in India and for drone industry to pick up in India, two things need to happen. So first and foremost, government regulations need to be conducive. And second key thing is that the users should want to buy drones. Now users could be users like you and me who would want to make like YouTube videos, traveling to some exotic location in Leh, Ladakh, etc. The second users and the primary users right now in India seems to be big corporations. For example, there are agriculture-based companies that are trying to improve crop productivity. So they would buy these type of drones, customize it and use it in fields in order to improve agricultural productivity. So it becomes like a B2B product, not a B2C product. So I hope this basic understanding is clear. Now with that viewpoint in mind, let us very quickly understand the landscape of government regulations in India. So very quick history there is that up until 2018, the government regulations regarding drones in India were not very favorable. Post 2018, the government started observing that, the application of drone is very wide. It is impacting a range of different countries, right from US, China, Amazon uses a lot of drone. A lot of drones are being used in Israel. It is becoming one of the foremost locations for R&D research on drones. So the bottom line is that seeing the application of drone, the Indian government started warming up to the idea of drone technology as well. So the Indian government came with something called as the Drone Rules 2021, which was a more liberalized regime for UAVs, which is unmanned aerial vehicles, which includes drones. And they established a bunch of norms, regulations, which were somewhat favorable in terms of doing drone-based startups. Very recently, they started a single window clearance system called as the Digital Sky platform. So if you are someone who is trying to build a drone-based startup in India, then the number of clearances that you need to take came down quite sharply. Now see, this is me praising the government. Any good work that the government does and the less regulation it has, it makes me super happy and it should make you super happy also. I am a free market proponent. That is what I keep on saying, that the more free market is there, the more opportunities will be there for you and me as entrepreneurs, startup creators, employees to come and work in the private sector and benefit from these existing trends. So yeah, keeping that discussion aside, the good point about the drone industry in India right now is that the government regulation seems to be very, very favorable, and that can act as an accelerant for the growth of this industry. In fact, the Indian government went to the extent of banning import of drones except for R&D, defense and security purposes. This was somewhat of an important move because right now many of the drones are being used from a security point of view. So it becomes important to adopt this technology indigenously. So the word of the day today is indigenous. Let me know what does that mean. So it's very important that from a defense or security point of view, we are able to manufacture this technology internally. So that is the key message, and the government seems to be on the right track when it comes to this industry. Now, very quickly talking about the customer acceptance point of view, that okay, it's one thing that the government has come out with positive regulations, but other thing is that there should be customers in India. So is that the case? The short answer is yes. In fact, Indian Army earlier was not very warm to the idea of using drones. Now here is a very quick snippet, and there is something very, very interesting. So there is a company called as New Space Research and Technology Private Limited, which is run by a former IAF, Indian Air Force officer, Mr. Sameer Joshi. And he's trying to bring this idea to Indian Air Force and Indian Army. So to cut the long story short, the government seems to be favoring this industry and customer acceptability is getting built into this industry. So you will get very excited that, hey, like Mr. Gautam Adani, I also want to become super rich and I also want to invest in this industry. So what are some of the key things that I know? So you need to know two things. One is that what is the ecosystem or value chain in which you can invest. Second, what are the key players in that ecosystem? So let me help you break that apart in a very systematic manner. So first and foremost, we have 4 different options of investing in drone-based startups or drone-based companies in India. And they target different parts of the value chain. So what is the value chain? I will just draw it out and explain it. So the first part has to do with the R&D based companies in India. Right now, there are not too many R&D based drone technology companies in India that are market leaders. Majority of the high-end research comes from Western countries as of now, but hopefully going in the future, we might be able to generate a lot of R&D indigenously. So the word of the day today is indigenously. I hope you would have Googled it up and let me know in the comment box what does that mean. The second key area is OEM, which are original equipment manufacturers. So many parts that are used or functionalities that are used in the drone-based industry are being manufactured in India. This can actually become one of the key segments that can propel high-end manufacturing in India. The third key part is the service-oriented space. This is the most prominent space in India as of now. Service-oriented space simply means that, for example, if we have a Western company, let's consider Monsanto, which is big in agriculture. It's an agriculture-based monopoly. If it comes in India and it is looking for specialized services to improve crop productivity in India by using drones, then there will be some service provider that will do a lot of data analytics for Monsanto, will fit different types of cameras, will integrate different functionalities on the ground, so on and so forth to enhance the productivity of the crop. So that becomes a service that a company in India which specializes in terms of using drones is supporting some other multinational player in terms of improving their scale and efficiency. Then comes the fourth and final point, which is around contract manufacturing. So you might have recently read that iPhones in India are going to get manufactured at scale. So what is that? That is contract manufacturing, so to say. Now, these type of contract manufacturing systems are gaining scale in India, and drones become one of the small areas within that contract manufacturing space. So these are the landscape of companies that we have, and these can be categorized into 3 different type of companies that exist. So one would be listed companies. For example, something like Paras Defense is a listed company. You can go look it up. In fact, that is one of the stocks that I'm going to discuss very shortly. So it is a listed company. There is a lot of useful information, literature that is available that will help you understand more about the work that Paras Defense does. The second type of companies that exist within the drone space in India are the unlisted big companies. For example, companies like InfoEdge have went and invested in startups that have now become slightly bigger. So these could be categorized as unlisted companies. Similarly, Zomato has invested in drone-based startups. And there are a bunch of different companies, including the Adanis, who recently purchased a stake in a company called as General Aeronautics. Now, this again, given the quantum of investment, would be classified as slightly big unlisted company. Then comes the third layer, which are new age startups. These startups keep popping up here and there. They shut down also quite fast. So in summary, there are three investment options that you can look at. Number one, listed companies. Number two, big unlisted companies. How you can go there, I will talk about that. And third would be unlisted small companies. This third category, I will ask you to eliminate because you and I as normal retail investors will not have enough information. Now, let us start discussing some of the key investment options based on the categories that I had created. First and foremost, I will talk about that if you want to invest in publicly listed companies, then there are three prominent options at play. One is Paras Defense. The second is called as Zen Tech Technology. And third is called as Ratan India. So you could consider investing in one of these three companies or a combination of all three. Important point to remember are the following, that number one, the use cases for drones is still being built out. So this is a fairly new industry. If you are taking a bet on, let's say, hypothetically speaking, Paras Defense, and if its drone vertical does not amp up much and you have invested because of drone industry, then you are making a wrong bet. Second key point that you need to remember is that all these three companies have different verticals. Drone is not the only vertical in which they are active. Third, all these three companies have been recently listed or are fairly new, or their drone vertical is fairly new, and there is no certainty of profits and revenues. So let me prove this point by showing you the financials of Ratan India first. So here you can see that if you analyze their financial statements from March of 2019, their revenues have hardly been there, right? So this is a fairly new company. Hardly anything is happening. They are undertaking probably a lot of R&D. Therefore, you are seeing all these numbers to be negative. Here you will get super impressed that 400 crores profit. Okay, how did they reach this 400 crore profit? So this is other income. This is not income from operations, right? So this is about Ratan India. It is an untested company, so to say. So you are literally puntering here. There is no logic to investing in this company as of now. Second key point, let us look at Zen Technology and let us quickly go through the description. So what you will realize is that it is actively involved in indigenization of technologies which are beneficial to Indian armed forces, state police and paramilitary forces. Now, this is a double-edged sword because the only way their business picks up is that if they are able to work in conjunction with the government. And Mr. Adani has already entered it. Now you guys are smart. You know what I'm trying to say. So heavily risky bet for me. So I'm not going to invest. Now comes Paras Defense. So let me just quickly take you through the numbers first. So this company is generating some sales. And the best part is that they are doing it profitably. It is still very, very nascent because hardly 10 crore profits have been there. It's not that big for a publicly listed company, but they seem to be on the right track. At least their proof of concept is there. So if out of these three stocks, I have to pick one, I will pick Paras Defense. Will I be doing it? Please continue watching the video. I'll explain whether I'll be investing in Paras Defense or not. But here is the segmental overview of Paras Defense. So you can clearly see that 45% of their revenue comes from heavy engineering. This is not drone-based manufacturing. So this has got nothing to do with drones. Again, when it comes to defense and space optics, again, their revenues are huge from this. This is a major revenue stream for them. And again, this has got limited functionalities with drone. This is the negative part, but positive part is that the synergies for something like Paras Defense is very high when it comes to drone-based manufacturing and designing drone-based systems. Because they are already into heavy manufacturing, optic space, they already have a bunch of government contracts. So it might be easier for them to win contracts when they actually start amping up their drone-based vertical. Now let me speak about three more companies in which you can invest to take indirect ownership in drone-based industries. So first is InfoEdge. It is one of the biggest tech companies in India. They have been running things like Shadi.com, Naukri.com, etc., etc. Fairly big player. They have recently invested in a company called as Skylark Drone. So let me take you very quickly through what Skylark Drone is doing. So this is a very good outline for this, that they are into faster road surveys, drone application huge, accurate volumetric measurement, again very important, especially like hilly areas where landslide is there and a bunch of other natural disasters happen. This volumetric measurements can come in very handy. It comes to accurate yield estimation. So this is into agricultural space. Deployment of solar energy faster. So this looks like a very wide startup. So I would personally not invest in such a company because right now the R&D is getting built and use cases are getting built. So from that angle, it makes more sense to invest in niche drone-based startups. A classic case in point would be General Aeronautics, in which Mr. Gautam Adani has bought 50% of stake. So let us quickly check what it does. So we are advancing aerial technologies for creating a better tomorrow. It is delivering advanced aerial technology, this, that in agriculture. And basically their work seems to be focused on agriculture. So at least it's a focused startup backed by Mr. Adani, most likely to win government contracts. I'm just leaving it up to you. Please make a call whether they will win government contracts or not. But chances are very, very high that they will. So to cut the long story short, this seems like a better startup to invest in. Now, third comes Zomato and Swiggy. So Zomato actually acquired a company called as Tech Eagle in 2018, and it has been working in terms of amping up its delivery via drones. Now think about it in this way, that Zomato currently has a delivery partner workforce of approximately 1.5-2 lakh people. Consider the amount of expense. So 1.5-2 lakhs into at least 10,000, 15,000 they will be paying. So it's like crores and crores of expenditure every month. Now, this can be replaced through technology. Will it be an easy switch? The answer is no. There will be a lot of halla that will go around there. But this is a massive advantage if a company like Zomato is able to use drone technology to cut down on its delivery partner force, because they can make deliveries more reliable, faster, and less expensive. So this is a win-win proposition for Zomato and its end customers, you and me. Because hopefully we might not have to then pay like 60 rupees, 70 rupees additional charge or surcharges and all that stuff. And also our food might get here faster. So does this seem like a great idea? The answer seems yes. But here is the problem, that right now when it comes to use cases, the use cases are getting proven in agricultural and defense field first in India. And then probably someday, maybe 10, 15, 20 years, or maybe even 2-3 years, it might come to logistics space and can help companies like Zomato. So what is the essence of investment thesis here? Right now, this industry seems to be undercooked, very similar to the startup story that was playing out till last year. Revenues have not been proven yet. Profits, of course, have not been proven yet. So I will personally wait for revenues and profits to be proven. Overall, this is a wonderful industry. It is a game changer. It will definitely impact series of different startup ecosystem. But if there are a couple of stocks that I will look at more closely, number one, to me would be something like Paras Defense. If I'm investing, I will invest very little quantity as of now. And the second would be General Aeronautics. Now there are options to invest in these startups directly. Now, General Aeronautics, the company in which Mr. Adani has taken 50% of the stake, this is not a listed company, so you can't directly invest in General Aeronautics, but there are two options. One is that you invest in Adani Enterprise and you get indirect ownership of General Aeronautics. I will double check that fact and I will put that in the description box. And the second is that you can explore different startup investing based platforms in India through which you can get access to companies like General Aeronautics. Again, I'll make a separate video. Otherwise, this video will become really long and elongated. But do let me know, what do you think about this industry? Which stocks do you like? If there are specific stocks that you would want me to research and put more data on, I will be happy to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you tomorrow.